In this example, Heather measured the speed of the cars which passed her house between 10 AM and 11 AM. She recorded the results on a table. The first thing we've been asked to do is calculate the cumulative frequencies. So to do this, I'm going to add another column called CF, standing for cumulative frequency. So looking at this first one, in the group 30 to 40 there were 2 cars. So what the cumulative frequency keeps track of is how many were travelling less than 40, and so that was 2. The next one, it says how many cars were travelling less than 50. Well, there were 6 cars travelling between 40 and 50, and 2 cars travelling between 30 and 40. So we say that there are 8 cars travelling less than 50. In the group 50 to 55, there were 5 cars. So how many cars were travelling less than 55? Well, there's the 5 from the 50 to 55 group and 8 in the less than 50 group. So in total, there were 13 cars. In the next one, 55 to 60, there were 7 cars. So how many cars were travelling less than 60? Well, it's the 7 that were between 55 and 60, and the 13 that were below 55. So that's 20. And then finally, cars travelling between 60 and 70, there were 4 of them. So how many cars were travelling less than 70? Well, it's the 4 that were in this group and the 20 that were in the group less than 60. So that's 24. So we've now calculated all of our cumulative frequencies. We now just need to draw a cumulative frequency graph. So on the x-axis, we draw the speed. So we'll go with 30, 40, 50, 60, 70, and we label this speed. So it's 30, 40, 50, 60, and 70. And then on the y-axis, we draw the cumulative frequency. So we'll go up 4, 8, 12, 16, 20, 24. And label this cumulative frequency. Now I should say that when you draw these, you should use a pencil and a ruler, lined or even better squared graph paper, to do a more accurate drawing. Now to plot the graph, we always go to the upper limit. So for the 30 to 40 cumulative frequency of 2, we go along to 2 and put across at 2. In the 40 to 50, we had a cumulative frequency at 8, so we go along to 50 and up to 8. For 50 to 55, we have a cumulative frequency of 13, so it's 55 up to 13. In the 50 to 60, cumulative frequency was 20, so we go along to 60 and up to 20. And finally, in the 60 to 70, the cumulative frequency was 24, so we go up to 70 and plot it at 24. So we just need to draw in our line. And this is our cumulative frequency curve, and it has that traditional S shape. So finally, you just need to give your graph a title. So we'll just say it is cumulative frequency curve for speeds of cars. So we've now drawn a cumulative frequency graph. We now need to do an estimate for the median. Now the median is the middle value. So we've got 24 values here, so we'll say that the median is the 24 over 2th value. So 24 over 2 is 12, so we're looking at the 12th value. So as it's the 12th value, we go to our cumulative frequency and we draw a line from 12 and go all along to our graph, and then we come down and we measure off the value on the x-axis. So that's roughly about 55. Now again, you should use a pencil and a ruler to get a more accurate result. But we'll say that the median here is 55. Now to calculate the upper and lower quartiles, we still use the same process, but we use for the lower quartile is the 24/4 value. So 24/4 is 6, so we're looking for the 6th value. So the 6th value is here, and we go across and then down, and that looks roughly to be about 46. So we'll say that the lower quartile is 46, and to calculate the upper quartile we need to go 3/4 of the way along. So the upper quartile is the 3/4 times 24th value. So we're looking for the 18th value. So we go along to 18 and we go across like we did before. Again, you should use a pencil and a ruler. And then we come down. So that looks roughly about 59. So I'm going to say upper quartile is 59. So lower quartile was 46, upper quartile is 59. Now we need to calculate the interquartile range. So the interquartile range is just simply the upper minus the lower quartile. So the upper quartile is 59, the lower quartile is 46. So 59 minus 46 is 13. So the interquartile range is 13. And then I've just been asked to draw a box and whisker plot. So I'm going to draw my box. Remember, the box is made up of the lower quartile, which is 46, the upper quartile, which is 59 here, and the line in the middle represents the median. So the median is about roughly here. And then the whiskers are made up by the maximum and minimum value. So we can only say that as it goes between 60 and 70, we can only say that 70 is the possible maximum value. And in the 30 to 40 group, we can see that 30 is a possible minimum value. So we go across to 70, and then we go down to 30. So this is our box and whisker plot. So we have now taken our data, calculated the cumulative frequencies, drawn a cumulative frequency graph, we've done an estimate for the median, upper and lower quartiles, calculated the interquartile range, and we've sketched a box and whisker plot.